Hello, everyone. Semi-retired Bob here. I talk about the carnivore diet, all things related to the carnivore diet, and miscellaneous odds and ends. I'm really excited today. Today we have a special guest, Miss Courtney Luna. Say hello, Courtney. Introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I am so excited to be here and share my story. So, thank you for having me. My name's Courtney Luna. I am 39 years old. I'm a stay at home mom in Southern California of two little kids. And I've been on my carnivore journey for it was just a year in May. And I am 4 days into Lion Diet. So, I'm playing around with that right now. And I come from a long history of yo yo dieting. I'd say about like 25 years of disordered eating, always trying to lose the weight, never going about it from a health perspective. And yeah, it took me a long time to finally find carnivore. I was even on and off keto for like 7 years, and I never once heard of carnivore, which is frustrating. I wish I knew about this sooner, but I'm so thrilled to have found this way of eating. It has changed my life in so many ways. And I'm so passionate about it, and I want other people to know that this is an option. So I just shout it from the rooftops as much as I can.
Okay, thank you for that. We are very glad to have you here. Uh, so you just started the lion diet. You're 4 days in. How have you been finding it so far? And are you doing coffee still with your lion diet or not?
I am not doing coffee. And that is part of the reason why I went to Lion Diet because my coffee consumption and my dairy was getting a little out of hand. So I'm using this as a 30-day reset to like reel myself back in. I used to not be that bad on the coffee. I've always loved it, but I would do a lot of decaf, and that slowly just crept up into, a 3 o'clock regular coffee, as well as ones in the morning. So this is day 4. I'm feeling really good. The past few days, I have had some headaches here and there. So I'm just trying to stay hydrated, have my electrolytes, have a lot of salt. And today I'm actually like feeling really, really good. So I'm totally pumped. I noticed how much it was messing with my energy levels. So it was almost like I was having so much coffee that I was relying on it to give me my energy. So I woke up feeling really good. I didn't notice any like afternoon slump in my energy already, even though it was only day 3 yesterday. So I'm so happy that I'm doing this. I miss my butter and my bacon, and I love the taste of coffee, but I feel the best I have in a while.
Excellent. So I saw you were in the news out there once upon a time. How did that come to be, and how has it affected your daily life? I mean, are you getting a lot of wackos coming to your videos and leaving dumb comments?
Yes. I've been in the news quite a few times, so I'm not sure which one you are talking about, but I've been on like Inside Edition interviewed me. So I was on their show, and then Dr. Phil used that clip and shared it on his channel, on his show. I've been in local news stations. I've been like on online articles, so the Daily Mail, Newsweek, New York Post. So yeah, I mean, you know what? I don't even know if that brought extra attention. I had already been getting hated on and lots of comments before any of that press. I'm sure it added a little bit, but yeah, I mean, on a daily basis, I get hundreds of horrible comments. I mean, some of the things they say to me, it's just it's wild. Like you wouldn't even believe someone could say that to another person.
Okay. In looking over some of your previous videos, I've heard you talk about food freedom several times. That seems a little counterintuitive because everybody's always talking about how restrictive the carnivore diet is. Do you mind taking a few moments and explaining to my audience what you mean when you say food freedom?
Yeah, a lot of people get confused. They're like, how do you have food freedom? You don't eat anything. And to me, food freedom is not obsessively thinking about food every day. And that's how I used to be. So even on keto, while it did help with my weight loss, I would still have keto treats. So I was still having that sweet flavor. And for me, continuously having anything sweet, whether it was, low carb or not, just continued this cycle of cravings. So it would be like if there was a plate of donuts next to me, I would either try not to eat them and think about it all day, or I would eat one and try not to eat the rest of them all day, or I would eat the whole thing, binge on it, and restrict myself the next day. So for me, just eating meat, removing those things that don't mentally make me feel good, gives me freedom. Like I don't think about it. I don't give foods another thought. You could have donuts next to me and I wouldn't even give them another glance. Like they're just not food to me anymore. So it's like the mental gymnastics I used to go through obsessing over these foods. Like I find that I have that freedom now. And I've since learned that I am a carb and sugar addict and it's better for me to abstain than moderate. Some people can moderate. Some people can have a donut and go about their day and not think about it for weeks on end. My husband would be one of those. But for me, I would obsessively think about it. So having that freedom, like, and not giving it another thought, it's just like amazing. I get the goosebumps right now just talking about it. Like that has been such a huge thing for me that I didn't know I would have, because I haven't had that for 25 years. I mean, I was 13 years old when I was first starting to worry about my weight. So yeah, it's been amazing.
Okay. And one of the things that I noticed when I transitioned into the carnivore diet, and I didn't notice it for many months, but I realized that I actually had some mental health issues. Have you noticed anything like that? And has it cleared up for you? Are you still having problems with that? Or I know that's not a great question, but I definitely want to talk about your mental health and how it's improved or not improved on the carnivore diet.
Yeah, so I was on Zoloft, and at one time I was on 100 milligrams, which is kind of a lot, and it numbed me out too much. So we lowered it to 25 milligrams, and it wasn't enough, but I didn't feel as numb. So going along my life, not feeling great, still, having really dark thoughts, not being happy, having a lot of anxiety. So when I started eating this way, since my dosage was so low, I was able to notice a shift in my mood. And I didn't even know that was something that could happen. Like I didn't start carnivore hoping to heal my anxiety and depression. I didn't know that was even a thing. No one told me that my diet could be linked to my mental health. So yeah, after a month of eating, I started off animal based. So I still had some fruit. I was mindful of my carbs. I was probably like under 75. So I started out that way and I noticed a shift. And I even like said something to my husband. I'm like, I just feel so much better. And he noticed a difference too. So I think after a couple months of eating this way, I slowly weaned off my Zoloft and I'm just thrilled. And it also bothers me that nobody talked to me about my diet. Nobody asked what I was eating. No one like made the link that your food, I mean, food is fuel you're putting in your body. So why would you put diesel into a car that doesn't use diesel? And they say that anxiety and depression is linked to inflammation of the brain. Well, if you're having all these carbs and sugar, then that's going to inflame your brain. So it kind of makes sense that eating this way would help with that. And I just wish it was talked about more. I feel like it is starting to now be talked about a little bit more, but I feel like that's one of the things I like to talk about so people know that this is a possibility, because nobody told me that. And I wish I would have known. And it's kind of sad a lot of people dismiss what I'm saying, like how dare you say that eating this way, healed all that. I'm like, okay, but it did. I'm not on Zoloft anymore and I don't need it. Even my husband agrees. I might have my crazy moments, but he's like, yeah, like how I was before was affecting my family. If I needed to still be medicated, then I would do that. But luckily my diet is handling that for me.
Excellent. Yeah, the whole doctor's never asking about what you're eating has always kind of amazed me, because if you have any pets and you take them to the vet, what's the first question the vet asks you? What are you feeding them and how are they eating? Yet not a single one of my doctors has ever asked me that. I just find that interesting. So we know that you get the nut jobs coming out to your channel, but other than that, how are you finding the carnivore community as a whole? And I've heard some people refer to us as a cult, just like the people that eat on the other side of the aisle, as I like to say on my channel. So how is your community doing?
Yeah, first I want to address that little part because someone said something the other day and it was like, oh, it's such a good point. Like, okay, when they call us a cult, well, I would say veganism is a cult because when people try to switch away from veganism, they say you're not doing it wrong and this is it, like they tear them down. If someone is carnivore and doing it for healing and they are slowly trying to introduce foods back in, I feel like the community is like, great, good for you. Like, I hope that works out for you. So to me, I don't think it's a cult because we are very supportive of those that are trying to ease foods back in. So someone pointed that out, and I love that. For me, I have found so many like new best friends, some that I've never even met before. I got to meet a lot of people at KetoCon, which was amazing. I've gone to, I guess, just one meetup. I went to the Vegas meetup. So finally, like meeting some of your online friends has been awesome. But yeah, I feel like it's been so amazing. I feel like it trickles out to other areas in life. So we have a lot of like similarities. It's a lot of like-minded people more than just diet. And yeah, it's been awesome.
Excellent. So go ahead and walk us through what now I know it's changed for the last 4 days because you're on lion diet, but can you go ahead and give us a rundown of what a normal day of eating would look like for you before you started the lion diet and maybe even all the way back to when you were keto?
Yeah, so when I was keto, it was very heavy veggies, tons of veggies. I still had meat, but honestly, like I wasn't having a ton of red meat. We did have it, but I just remember like a lot of turkey, a lot of chicken. I know I was mindful of my fat, but for some reason, I guess I think I ate a lot of fat bombs. Honestly, I wasn't getting my fat from red meat. I was eating the chocolate peanut butter fat bombs. So yeah, that's how, lots of just veggies and meat on keto. And typical carnivore for me, um, lots of beef. I try to prioritize beef. I love bacon. I will take a few bites of out of a stick of butter now and then. Some dairy. I was always trying to be mindful of my dairy because for me, I noticed that it is addicting and it can make me more snacky. It messes with my hunger cues. So I would still have dairy, but I tried to pay attention to not having too much. I failed a lot of the times, but lots of ground beef. I have a favorite ground beef, so I'm always making burger patties. I love ribeyes. I mean, who doesn't love ribeyes? But ribeyes and skirt steak are great. I love chicken wings, and I will, fry them or I'll use them in my air fryer from frozen. And that at the end, I will fry them in tallow. And those are amazing. I do love salmon. I have tuna melt patties that I make. Yeah. So and pork rind cereal. That would be like my treat, my dessert. You just take pork rinds, you crunch them up a little bit, and you can pour like either raw milk if you don't mind the carbs, or half and half is a great option, or heavy cream. But I feel like even that, it's a little rich. But that would be my treat. And yeah, now that I'm on Lion, it's just beef. I haven't had lamb yet. I do like lamb, but I don't love it. So it's not something I could really like go to town on, but I'm sure over the course of the next 30 days, I'll make some lamb lollipops just to mix it up. But for right now, just lots of burger patties, steaks, and that's about it.
Yeah, burger patties are the staple food of all carnivores, regardless of which level you're on. I eat a lot of those myself. So you've mentioned dairy a couple of times, and I've seen on your channel 3 or 4 different times where you have tried different things to cut the dairy out of your life because it slowly creeps up on you. And and gets out of control. Do you have any thoughts as to why dairy affects you that way?
Yeah, I do know there's something like the casein that's in it. I've heard that it does light up areas in your brain, like the pleasure area. So it is addicting. It does like affect the dopamine. So I just kind of find myself, if I have one, I think about it, like I kind of fall into my own, back into my old ways with that. So, once I'm done with Lion, I probably will bring it back, to be honest. I'm going to play around with just having raw dairy because I've had raw dairy, but I've never had it alone. I would still have other dairy products that have been pasteurized. So I'm going to play around with that, try and keep it minimal, see if it works. Honestly, I feel like I should just wait until I'm in maintenance mode because I can have dairy and not be losing weight. Like it kind of like stalls me because I might eat too much. So I should really stay away from it. But it's so delicious, and it also, sometimes you need to like switch it up, and it helps make this diet sustainable too. So I'm trying to figure out how to balance the dairy. But yeah, it's been difficult for me.
Yes. And I saw back earlier that one of your first attempts at getting dairy out of your life, that you did a 30-day beef, butter, bacon, and eggs run, but you ended up cheating about halfway through. Um, do you want to talk about that cheat? And I know it wasn't really what most carnivores would consider a cheat, but you seemed so ashamed of the fact that you had cheated on your beef, butter, bacon, and eggs.
Yeah, so I cheated, but not with non-carnivore foods. I was just on a chicken wing kick before I did the BBBE, and I was just craving those chicken wings. So yes, I think it was around week 3 where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna bring back some animals in. My purpose for doing the BBBE was to get off the dairy, so I kept the dairy out and just brought back in a few other animals. I think I had salmon too, because yeah, so I felt like a little ridiculous for not being able to stick to it. But since my reasoning was mainly for the dairy, I'm like, okay, I'm going to bring back in these other animals and hope that everyone forgives me.
Absolutely. And from what you said earlier, after you get them mostly done, you finish your chicken wings and things off by frying them in tallow. So I'm assuming you're getting plenty of fat that way. Well, let's talk about eating out, because I've heard you mention a few places that you have out there in California that we just don't have here in the middle of Nebraska. So, how often would you say you eat out? And do have you found places that are very friendly to carnivores?
Yeah, eat out. Sorry. We eat out occasionally. I find it hard to like, okay, we'll go to In and Out a lot. And it's so affordable and it's good quality. They're not using any seed oils. As far as going to like a proper restaurant and getting a steak, it's fun to do once in a while for like the experience. Like we do it as like a date night, but I can cook those steaks, just as good, if not better at home. And I'm cheap. So it's hard to go pay $70 for a steak when I can do it at home for $13.99. So I find it easy when you go out, like everywhere, unless you're at a vegan restaurant, everywhere's going to have a meat option. But for me, I am finding myself eating more at home, and just doing it once in a while as like an experience thing, or an outing with my husband. And as far as like the seed oils and stuff, you can always ask for them to cook your things in butter. You can say you have allergies to the oils. So that would be my main concern, is what they're cooking your meat in. But as long as you request that it's either grilled or cooked in butter, then you should be good.
Excellent. Yeah, I've heard about In and Out. I've never actually tried them because they're out there and I'm back here. But sorry if you noticed I had kind of a shocked look on my face when you were talking about prices, because I keep forgetting that you're in California. I'm in Nebraska. I'm in the feedlot capital of the world. And while it's not the highest quality meat, I just went to the store today and picked up top round steaks for $5.50 a pound. So the prices you were saying there kind of caught me off guard just a little bit. But I have always said that beef is my primary supplement. Are you using any supplements?
I do take electrolytes, so I do the Element drink packets, and mainly because I like them. Like, I'm a drink person, so it changes the flavor of my water, even though I get the unflavored one. So I love that. I add a little bit more salt in my water as well. And occasionally I will take a magnesium pill in addition to that. My understanding is that no matter what diet you eat, you are most likely deficient. I think 80% of the population is deficient in magnesium, and magnesium is also linked to anxiety. So I'm not very consistent on taking it. I kind of just take it, I feel like, as I need it. If I'm having a wonky day, I'm like, okay, let's take some magnesium, see if that cures my problems. And then also, once in a blue moon, I will take some organ supplements. I kind of just take it intuitively. So that's it. I rarely eat organ meats. They're not awful, but I don't totally love them. So yeah, I will supplement occasionally just to get some added nutrients in.
Excellent. Now, did I see on your channel that you offer coaching or something like that? Did you want to talk about that for just a little bit while you've got my audience right in front of you? Tell them about that.
Sure. Yeah, I have a private community. So it is a group. It's mainly an accountability group, but there is coaching because I mean you have access to me, but we use it as like a daily check-in, to get your movement in. If you have any questions on your food, if you need help with your macros. So it is like group coaching slash accountability. It's a monthly membership. It's cheap. It's $12 and it's been awesome. I love it. It's been helping me, not only helping the other people, but it keeps me accountable for my workouts. And I also have an ebook on everything you need to know to get started on a carnivore diet. Obviously, you can just start eating meat and be good to go, but it goes over things like macros if you want to track them, electrolytes, the whole vitamin C and scurvy thing, and a bunch more. I think it's like 37 pages, and it also has like resources and other doctors that you can go check out to find out like the why. Like, I'm not here to convince anyone they should eat this way. I'm here for when someone has already decided they want to eat this way to then offer them some help and support, some guidance, and some delicious recipes.
Excellent. So this is the point in the interview where I like to just say, the floor is yours. If there's anything else that I did not ask you about that you'd like to talk about, now is the time. Feel free to basically just sit down and talk to my audience for a few moments.
Yeah, I would just encourage anybody that's curious about eating this way, if you haven't tried it, to just give it a shot. Give it a shot for a minimum 30 days. I would even say the 90-day is when magic happens. I feel like I saw a lot of changes at the 90 days. And to just give it a shot. I mean, okay, I don't want to say nothing bad will happen. I can't say that. I'm not going to give medical advice. But if you're worried about, all the topics that they say, the cholesterol and heart disease and all that, well, nothing bad is going to happen in a few months. And I hear a lot of people say, I don't know, I didn't realize how bad I felt till I started eating this way. I think people get used to the little aches and pains. Maybe you get out of bed and your knee hurts. We brush off all these little quirks, and a lot of that can be healed by eating this way, and you can always go back to how you ate before. But I would suggest anybody that's curious, anyone that has any issues, autoimmune issues, gut issues, mental health issues, especially eating disorder issues, just give it a shot.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Now, I know you have YouTube and you have an Instagram. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you all over social media? Go ahead and tell us about all the things.
Okay, I am all over social media. You can find me on Instagram at It's Courtney Luna. And that I love Instagram because they're also like the DMs are there. So it's all the other platforms you can't really like get a hold of me if you need to. TikTok, if you are bored and want to feel better about yourself, come jump into the comments section on there. It is absolutely wild. So that will give you some entertainment. And I'm on Facebook. I am on Twitter, and I'm on Clapper, kind of. And then I guess that's it. And Pinterest. So if you're looking for recipes and such, I need to be better about getting on there, but there are a ton already. I just need to get my newer stuff over there. So that's easy to organize all your recipes on like a Pinterest folder.
But everybody go down in the comments. Thank Courtney Luna for her time today, because everybody's time is valuable. So get down in the comments, say thank you to her, get over to her channels and subscribe to all of them if you haven't already. Don't forget, folks, get out there, be 1% better today, tomorrow, every day. Have a great day, folks, and I'll see you in the next one.